exclusive episode of The Sheriff. Guys, do I ever have a treat for you? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to close your eyes and imagine something. I want you to imagine two kids from Scarborough that are family friends that grow up with the same dream of playing pro hockey. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these two kids would reach their dreams. They would become arch rivals, but also teammates towards the end of their career. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, I would like to introduce to you my special guest tonight. At 6'4", 240 pounds, he hails from Scarborough, Ontario. He's played over 300 games in 3 different countries. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a no-nonsense guy, funny, and very loyal. He's my former rival and teammate, but I'm just happy to call him my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my buddy, Mr. Alex Penner, a.k.a. Weapon X. How are you doing today, my man?
All right, thank you.
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good because you're here. I'm really excited. I was telling you before the show how kind of nervous I get when I have my buddies on my show. And I don't know, I just want to impress everyone and do a good job. But I appreciate you coming. Now, Alex, my style is I like to get right to the beginnings, right away. I like to know where people come from and who they got their most intense memories from. So now, I know your family pretty well. I know that your father was a coach. I'm the same age as your brother, Andrew. I want to ask you about Andrew and your father. I want to ask you about the roles that they had growing up, when you were growing up, the roles that they had in your playing career, because it was an incredible opportunity for you to have an older brother that played as well as a father that coached. So starting with Mr. Penner, that's what I call him. How was it to have kind of like a coach dad growing up, per se?
It was, my household was a little different. My dad was a big pillar of our family structure, and he showed us the way of hard work and dedication. As a coach, he was a realist, and he was not our coach. Just as like he was our father, not our friend growing up. You know what I mean? So he was truthful, and he let us know. When he coached me, I was probably one of the worst players on the team. And I was also the 10th player on the team. So I had to work hard for my ice time. But he did not favor his kids. If you were not good, you did not play.
So now, and I appreciate you saying that, because it's very honest, and that's what we're all about on the show. So now, one of the reasons why I was bringing it up is because I had a segment 2 weeks ago with our buddy Dan Sullivan and Craig Martin, and it was a coaching episode. And pretty much what we were getting at is the parents that are coaches, how to do it right and how to do it wrong. Sully's about to coach his son, and we were having a discussion about how parents have affected the kids that we know when we were growing up, and how for most of them it wasn't a good thing. Now, the one thing about your dad, bro, is I remember him being so big. He had the beard going. You knew he was a serious guy, but he seemed very kind as well. It seemed like he figured it out. Do you think that your dad was one of the ones that kind of figured it out, like how I think? Because you know the examples of the parents I'm talking about.
My father has been very lucky to work beside such great men as Craig Hartsburg and John Lovell, and guys that went through the Guelph Storm program back in the day. That was So when you're around great coaches themselves and other pro athletes that have gone through the systems, then you get to pick up their little tidbits and get to learn from their knowledge, and then you can bring that to your game. So he's been fortunate to surround himself against great guys. Mike Kelly is one of them too that went through, and but he was a OHL goalie coach and OHL scout, so he knew the game of hockey, and he was very competitive. So he made sure that he taught the kids the correct way to play the game, and then he made sure that like we always touched on multiple times before, sports isn't just about winning and being competitive and stuff. It gets you teamwork. It lets you work with a group. It gets you to develop a goal and how to come together. Like there's companies out there that thrive for these kind of workers.
Yes.
People that can bring each other together and that's what team sports does. they get together, they make resolutions to accomplish what they need to do, and they put their personal feelings aside, or whatever is going on the street and in the public and at home. They put all that aside and they get that done, and that's what team sports does, and that's one of the things that he taught us as kids. Is you're a band of brothers. So, and you know, with Toronto, there's plenty of diversity in Toronto, and then there's no room for that, and you just got to come together. It's just like the military. That's why the military is such a strong point, because there's no color, no race, no nothing. It's a goal. It's survival. It's to win. So that's one of the main things that you got to teach these kids. It's just, you just got to come together. You got to work hard, and even though you work hard, you know how it is. You can work as hard as you want, and sometimes you still don't win. You're going to lose. The buck doesn't bounce your way, and that's life. You know what I mean?
See, Alex, I wish that you were part of the episode I had last week with my brother, because I'm loving the points that you just brought up. I was trying to do a talking point where my brother, who was way better than I was when we were kids, was a hockey player. He went to 1,000 tournaments. He went to all these tryouts. He did bag skates. He developed characteristics that many kids never get a chance to even develop, right?
Exactly.
And he applied all these things to the industry that he's in now, which he's in the show. So I was just trying to point out, and I got him to talk about it. And he was like, you know, commitment, you know, loyalty, teamwork. Like he was really nailing it. And what you just said was an incredible version of that, man. So I really appreciate you. I try to get that out. Not everyone's making the NHL, Alex. How many guys did we play with that made the NHL?
That's what I said. Like everybody's goal is to make the NHL. Everybody practices in their driveway, scoring that Stanley Cup winner. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be that Darren McCarty at one point or another. And but truth be told, like, I failed at my goal. I did not accomplish my goal. I did not get a tryout. I didn't get a contract. I didn't even get a game. Not even PTO. But I did do more than what most average people have done, and did make pro, and did have a good experience. Met great guys along the way. And gained good personal traits. So I have no complaints. I wish I could have done a little bit better, but all in all, I'm very blessed with my life that I've had. I'm glad with everything that's gone.
I gotta give a round of applause for that, buddy, because I'm very proud of you, buddy, because I look at you as a little brother, and I remember the first time that you came on my show. We were kind of talking about the boys, like about Olden, about you know what I mean, about Petsalis, about all these guys, and how they would always be like, Andrew's little brother, man, that guy's a tough kid. And bro, you turned out to be an incredible human being and tough as nails, like they said.
Well, the toughness, I believe everyone has a little bit of warrior in them. So you just got to dig deep down, find where it is. And if you want, let them loose and let them enjoy it. But I was growing up. I was pretty big. I was the baby, the youngest of three boys. I think we all were like a little bit of a mama's boy at some point. So that toughness was. I liked to scrap at school and stuff like that, but I had to earn that toughness. That wasn't always God given. So you got to go through some battles and experience some things to realize what kind of man you are.
Well, John Morasti recently said a saying that if you haven't lost fights, you're not fighting guys tough enough. Right.
That goes for anything in any walk of life, really, I believe. Is if you're not pushing yourself and you're not failing at goals, that means you're not pushing yourself. And you don't have to fail at goals. Like, failing at the NHL, like, you can't do the NHL at 50, you know what I mean? You can try, but it's not going to work. But you have other goals. Like, I'm a union Boilermaker now. So I went and got my red seal. So that was another goal to accomplish that. So there's
round of applause for that. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, it's good.
I recently learned about the red seal thing.
Yeah, so it's a big deal, especially in the trades. It puts you. It's like you're honest. You know what I mean? So it puts you above the rest. It's your masters of trades. It allows you to stand a little bit taller. But it's a good accomplishment. I say this, sorry, pardon me. I say this with every podcast I'm on. I am proud that they picked me up, Local 128. I was coming to the end of my career. I really didn't set myself up, and they took a chance on me. They just saw a man that worked hard and is willing to show up on time and show up every day. You know what I mean? So so I'm very glad that they're able to give me, and I love the career choice that I have. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I want to congratulate you on the career choice. I also want to congratulate the union for making such a good selection because they're.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Like I get it with the trades guys. There's iron workers, boilermakers, pipe. There's a whole world of vast world out there, and they're all like us. They just didn't make it in hockey. You know what I mean? They all like to have a beer, shoot the stuff. They're all good families. They all try to put their best foot forward and try to put financial aid for their families and put a roof over their head, give their kids the best opportunities that life can give them.
Exactly, buddy. So now there was a key word that you said a few minutes ago, and that was everybody has the warrior in them, right? It's just a matter of finding it, right, Alex? Yeah. So obviously my base for this show is people that appreciate tough guys, right? They really appreciate them. And I know that the audience and listeners have a lot of questions that they're wondering. Like they're seeing us together. They know that we fought. They know that we're buddies. They also know that we were teammates. So now what I want you to tell them is, when did you first start fighting? When did you first realize that you could do this role? Like, how young were you, and do you remember the team that it was with?
I think my first fight was Don Mills Flyers. I think it was Bantam.
So GTHL with the cages?
And I went the cage. I think I had 2 fights, but it was the same thing. And you know what else I played with was Jeff Weiss, Stephen Weiss's brother. So me and him were the 2 young brothers. Yeah. And we had to earn our spot and do our stuff, but he fought a couple of times. It was funny, with the cages. You had to learn how to rip the cages off. But when I knew I could do it was, I guess, when you get in your late teens. Yeah. Around 16, 17. Yeah. And then you're more of the bigger boys with the other boys. You kind of handle yourself. But I think the big step for most fighters is when you make that step to pro. Yeah. And then you start fighting men. Yes. And you know what I mean? There you get your odd freaks like Zach Sartini that are little man-childs in OHL. Yeah. But when you got a man that's 35 that has man strength and he's been wrestling pigs back on the farm for the last 30 years, good luck with that, right? Yeah. It's a whole different world. And then we're saying with the Warriors, the warrior inside you, it's a good feeling when your teammates appreciate it. Oh yes. You know what I mean? Because great point. You just do it because that's what needs to be done, and that's just the type of person you are. Mm-hmm. But it is nice when they do come and give you a tap on the shoulders or on the pads and let you know, thanks for having my back. I look at that, just to add to that, I think that was the most rewarding thing when I was playing, to have teammates say, you know what, Mac, I'm really happy that you're here tonight, man. We heard that you might not play. You're playing. Thank you, man. Guys would thank us for being there, because literally they would be completely different players if we weren't there. Yeah. So I think that kind of gratification was the best. How did you feel about that type of thing? That was good. Probably number 3. Yeah. I think the roar of the crowd after a fight was number 1. Okay. And then a nice cold beer after the game was probably number 2. That's awesome. And then the team's going, hey, thanks for that. You killed them. You are. Number 3. But I love the roar of the crowd. It was like a gladiator stadium. If you watch Gladiator with Russell Crowe, it was like that. You just felt like you were just on show for everybody to watch, and it was 2 men in, 1 man out. It was a great feeling, and just to survive those battles, battles I had with you, Hoffman, Morasti, well-known people that have established themselves before me in the league, and to go up to that and to survive, and then obviously we went round 2, and then now you get to learn and you get to feel better and you feel more confident. Now you're all right, we're more equals now. You know, studying. So you're getting into that, but it's a good one. Right on, man. Hey, I love it when you're getting into these talks, because I'm just getting fired up just remembering it. So now you did mention the roaring of the crowd, the Gladiator Stadium, right? So now, Alex, I'm a former player, but what I say all the time is that I'm a big fan. And I've been following you since you turned pro, because you were one of my really good buddies, little brothers that I've known about for so long. And then obviously we became friends. But dude, the Colorado Eagles, your time with Colorado, man, obviously we share some of the same friends. Dan Sullivan, who was my guest a few weeks back, I mean, the stories that this guy told me about when you were there,
the national anthem, Alex, facing the opposite way of the rest of your team and just staring at the opposite team. And dude, if I was the guy on the other team, I'd be like, oh man, why does this guy have to be like this? Like, guys were probably just, so tell me a little bit about that and tell me how that roar of the crowd would get you going. Because dude, I seen those highlight videos.
I took my from the Michigan team, the basketball team, where they were just ruthless. I was ruthless. I would play mind games with people. People knew I liked to party and stuff, so I played on that. Let them think I'm a little bit more wiry than I usually am.
Oh yeah.
I let them think let them create their own monster. But you just answer the door with your own monster, and then hopefully everything allows out. But yeah, I used to do very malicious things. Look up their house address, tell them we're going to get them, find out what their families are, Facebook them, creep them out, go at them, just get in their minds. Anything to take them off their game, anything to stop you from thinking about this game, all over you. Just mind trip, because that was the difference between NHL and American League guys, is consistency and just that mental imagery.
Yeah,
just being able to accomplish and stay strict and block out those outside voices and people just coming at you and negativity and stuff, saying stuff get them right off their game.
Wow, I wouldn't want to play against you in the playoffs, dude. I got you 2 weeks in a row. I couldn't even imagine the things that you could do in that amount of time.
Oh yeah, well, you just gotta. You're there to win. It's funny because I used to play rugby, and it's the same thing. On the rugby pitch, you would hit them in the nuts, cleat them, try to rake them. You're really dirty, but afterwards you're having beers with them, going, "Hey, good game, right on." All's forgiven, right?
Yeah.
And some people don't like that, and some people that still know me or play against me, if you meet them down the street, they'll say I'm an a-hole. Yeah. But truthfully, that was my job. I thought I did my job well, and the job's over. Punched out. Let's move on.
I agree with you. I agree. We got a lot of people walking by here, and just before I move on, here at the locker room studio at Bottomline, the place is absolutely rocking, ladies and gentlemen. We got Penner fans that are all over the bar, but we're containing them. We're holding it down. We got a chant going here. But so Alex, the other thing I wanted to get to with the whole Colorado thing was the opportunity that you got to play with your older bro, man, right? You guys got to play pro together for a franchise that when they were in the CHL, they probably should have been in the ECHL. When they were in the ECHL, they should have been in the AHL. And now they are they now in the AHL?
They no matter if they're in the East Coast or the Central, they should have been in the American League. Yes. They treated their players unbelievable. They were packing their rink all the time. Mm-hmm. It was a pleasure to see what level of professionalism a team can actually be at and operate at. And once you see that you're that level of operations, then you see where level everyone else should be at. Yep. But they also expect you to perform as well too. They treat you well, but you better perform to answer the bell. And it was Dan Sullivan. It was great to be with my brother. It was also amazing. And like you said, people growing up, my brother was also a big role model in growing up, mm-hmm. and to be able to play with him was unbelievable. There's stories still now in Scarborough from going up in Mowat at high school. But Pierre, Autumn always, Dylan's sister, always talks about Andrew used to get up at 40-degree weather when it's humidity 35, humidity 45. He'd still go running. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's too hot. People aren't working." My brother was still running
with the garbage bag.
Oh yeah, right? he was just doing crazy stuff. People were still hungover from the prom or whatnot, and he was dedicated. He did really well. He was accepted to 5 Ivy Leagues. He chose OHL because statistically it gets you better, and he did accomplish what he wanted. He signed with Columbus and signed with Pittsburgh, and he had a cup of tea up there. But it was nice. But to play with him was huge because it was finally I got to summer hockey with him and play with him and stuff. But to actually have a season and win and to go to the finals with him it was huge. We had a lot of fun. It was a good way to end our careers, his, and I'm so glad it happened.
How old were you guys at that time?
Oh, maybe he was 30. I was probably 26 or something like that. Yeah.
So man, you guys are pretty much both in the prime of life.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
In Colorado.
I hope 25 is not prime of life. I got some time to go.
The beginning of the prime of life.
Well, for athletes, yes.
Yes.
I always say athletes should be single until your career's done. It makes things a lot easier, and you don't have to worry about things. You know what I mean? So if you're serious about your career, you should probably stay single until you make it, especially if you're going through the minors.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you get drafted first round and sign $1 million at 18, you got some options. You can keep her if you want, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
You got some options for sure. So yeah, I mean, like with Andrew, like I remember, and he even signed, I think he signed a year early with Columbus, didn't he? Like when he was 19.
You'll have to get him out. Hopefully one day you have him on your podcast. Yeah. But he was an invite. And the funny thing is, this when you found out how NHL draft works, there's only so many guys that are drafted that they actually want. After the 5th round, it's just, who's that guy? What's that guy? You got a name for that guy? Oh yeah. And they told my brother they would have drafted him if he showed up to the draft. He's like, what? So he got an invite, outplayed Pascal Leclerc. They signed him. Pascal Leclerc was first rounder. First overall. He was unbelievable. So he outplayed him and they got signed. He did well.
He did really well. And I just remember just being so inspired because it was a year before I signed with Buffalo, and I'm like, man, Pens is already under NHL contract. This is incredible. I was very impressed. So dude, I'm gonna change it up a little bit because we got an opportunity to go somewhere overseas where we were able to play against each other. We both weren't there for very long, but I'll tell you what, it really influenced me a lot. I'm talking about the UK, me being in Dundee, you being in Nottingham. Now, I believe that similar to what you did in Colorado, once again, you went above and beyond. And what I mean by that is your character was bigger than anyone else in the league. You were definitely the best entertainer. From the first game, Alex, I remember watching it on Sky TV and you just grabbing Hoffman and just not wanting to stop. And Hoffman had the seatbelt going on and you were just like, no, I'm entertaining my crowd and that's what's happening. And bro, I loved it. I loved it. We had some great battles, but before I get into that, I just want you to talk about your experience in England. That was your time overseas. Quebec, we were kind of imports too, but England was the real import.
Yeah, no, England was amazing. It was a good time. I think I tasted all the beer that I could over there. Yeah. But no, it was a fun time. The gentlemen there were good. The team was great with me. I would go back to England and play, and now I'm a Boilermaker. I can go there and actually work over there.
Wow!
But no, it was fun. It was really good. Belfast was fun. Like Nottingham, Sheffield, Belfast, they're a really good 3-place. Cardiff is good.
Yep.
They have some good little hot spots over there that you can do really well. Hopefully the hockey gets better. Hopefully more guys keep going over there and doing well. I know they're known for their fighting. They like their fighting. I believe every English man over there likes their fighting.
Yeah.
So, it was fun, and I would do it again.
Yeah. So now, when we were both over there, we did a radio show, which was a promotion for our game because I was there the year before, Alex, and when I came back for the second year, all I heard about is Nottingham has Weapon X. Nottingham has Weapon X. So us knowing each other, obviously, with how I kind of played against the Panthers the previous season, was similar to how Brad Voth played against Belfast the year before I got to Belfast. They probably really needed you to kick McMorrow's butt. They needed you to do that, and you did.
I think it was more not to try to kick your butt, but I think it was more just to protect them. Just maybe if it's it seemed like their guy before that was just sacrificial lamb. It's one of those things we're playing McMorrow. Yeah, just sacrifice this guy, and maybe when he gets his blood, he'll leave the rest of us alone. You know what I mean? So I think they took a different approach with it this time. Yeah. They tried to get someone that could hold their own and protect their guys, and then at least give them a little bit more confidence to come back at your team, right? So your team was good.
So now, we've had a show before, and I was very humbled one time when I saw one of your interviews, and the question was, I think it was, who are you most proud of fighting, or who is the toughest guy that you fought? And I just got, I won the lottery. You said me, man, right? And I was touched by that. Now, I think that our two fights are at the top of the list for my fights in my career. We had some really good tilts, man, right? How do you think those went? I see they were both draws. How do you think it went?
The first one, if anything, maybe give you the upper hand on it. Like, you came out strong. You did your old switch to the left and came out, and I couldn't stop the left, and I had a game caution. Then I tried to go left and left, and I was like, my left isn't as quick as his left. So then we got back, and then I kind of got lost in the jersey, and then found myself. So I held my own. I didn't get my ass beaten, but. But definitely you can count it as a draw, but I think you got an upper hand. The second one was a lot better. Held my own. A lot of back and forth. I would give that one a draw. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, when you fight a couple times, you start giving more, and then it gets to the point where it's like, anyone has this one. Yeah. Two big boys going at it, right? Oh, yeah. Like, and that's the biggest thing is when you have two big guys going at it, one punch can do a lot of damage.
It could end everything in one punch.
I think that's what the fans were waiting for. Yeah. So, but I think we put on a good performance. We gave you. You did. I think you busted me up, and I gave you a shiner.
Yeah, you did. Oh, so, you gave me a really good shiner.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, and it's like me and Sawyer when we always fought. He always gets me, and I always get him, and it's always a good fight. Yeah. And that's the thing is at the end of it. Yeah, you want to fight each other and you want to like challenge each other and stuff, but at the end of it, you're still friends. You're like, and then you're like, you know what? Let's do that again. And you're like, and it's a good battle between men and just going at it. And then it's nice to see the camaraderie, and it's nice that you can always go for a beer and a pint or a smoke afterwards. And, you know what I mean, and talk about it, and then later on walk away from that just going, I'll get you next time. You know what I mean? Like, See, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get her going.
Oh, we got a rowdy crowd member here. So
you said they were draws.
I love. We got security containing the crowd, ladies and gentlemen. So I love hearing you explain that stuff right there. I always say the term real fighters know that it's impossible to win every fight. Real fighters can say when they really didn't do good, when they did okay, and when they did really good, because it's a sport. It's a sport. And when people realize that, that's when you can have a career. It's the guys that look at it like everything's a fight from the schoolyard and you got to hold grudges and this and that. Those are the guys that last only a couple seasons, man. You had a great career, and it's your mentality that allowed you to do that because you looked at it as a sport of honor where you're representing your team, city, and logo on your jersey. So, I mean, I love it, Alex. I love it when you explain it like that. It gives the viewers and listeners so much insight, and I appreciate it, buddy. So now,
well, also, I was going to say, I also didn't really set myself up for success after my career. So I was hoping that I'd probably just take a bad hit and just end there, and that'd be good.
I hear you.
But like, lucky for me, everything worked out, and it's all good, and I didn't have to go to that extreme. Yeah. But like going through it, like, I just wanted to fight to the end. Fight, and like you're 25, 22, you don't care, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're just out every night being an idiot. So like, you know what I mean? You just want to die on the ice and then give your all. But
I absolutely love it, bro. So like the thing about you, Alex, is you're so interesting, you're so complex that I could probably have like 3 straight shows with you in a row. There's a couple things I want to squeeze in though before we go, because we had an opportunity to play on the same team. Yeah. Like that year, like, I felt so different because I think it was the only season, ladies and gentlemen, where I had multiple teammates that could beat me up, right?
We had a lot of depth of toughness up there.
We had a lot of depth of toughness,
and Marquis. It was really good. You had me, you, Levite, Gabby Rock. It was and then Bernier. Gabby. We had a lot of guys.
Burns.
Like, it was good. It was a good team. It was good to play with you finally instead of against you. Yeah. And then it was nice to share the load with people. Yes. So that's a good thing with the teams that have fighting depth. Is you don't have to rely on one guy. Because you know if you're the one guy, you're getting your hands broken, your face and your shoulders and everything. When you can share the load, it puts a little longevity to your career, puts a little longevity to your health and well-being as well. So,
2 quick questions. Our former teammate, Gabby Rock, toughest guy pound for pound that you played with?
Pound for pound, yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Marasti's up there, man.
That you played with.
Yeah, I played with.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabby. Played with. Oh, Fraser Filippic, buddy.
Oh, yeah?
Fraser Filippic,
Okay, right on.
man.
Big shout out. Big shout out.
That guy he was small. He can play. He can hit. He was crazy. And you know what? I would love to, like, Gabby had a good rock, but yeah, watch Fraser Filippic if you have a chance. He was good. Colorado Eagles. Legend.
Best tough guy coach that you had in your career. We were talking about Dean the Machine earlier. For me, it was Diener, Litigascos.
Oh, tough guy coach?
Yeah. Like a coach that you had that understood the role the most and you were able to make your best performances.
Denny Lambert.
Okay.
Denny Lambert, Sault Ste. Marie.
He has a little bit of experience in the category.
Bit, and he shared his experience. He was the guy, oh my God. He was awesome. He'd tell you how to get into the corner and how to like wedge guys in to get the puck.
Would he actually like nudge you and while he was showing you?
He showed you. He got down there and he showed you. Like that guy just retired and he still had it in him.
Yeah.
And then he had his little kids running around and they were little Denny Lamberts with a little big head on it. Like it was awesome. Oh, Denny was the best, man. It was him, Craig Hartsburg. We had a great team up there.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, it was Tyler Kennedy. Like we had some good guys up there. It was awesome. And Denny Lambert. He would teach you a thing.
I wish I could play with him.
Too many cameras nowadays, but my trick back in the day was either, like, if you got into the corner, I'd just step on your skate and just cut your laces. Just cut your laces. See, you're gone for 10 minutes getting new laces. Man, you're not playing. You got to get new laces.
What? That's amazing.
You got to get, it's about winning. Like, you got to, anything to win. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Like, you got to win.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said that.
Yeah, that's the key of this game is winning. So if I can get their goal scorer or their best defenseman off the ice for 10 minutes because he's got to get new laces, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm not the best player, so I need to figure out other ways to get other people off the ice. Either injure them, hurt them, equipment, something.
I absolutely love it, Alex. This is incredible. We're going to end it on that good note there, buddy, because I really appreciate you coming on. We've gone over. I'm sitting here. I'm like, if I was sitting, I'd be on the edge of my seat listening to you, buddy.
You're on the edge of your toes right now.
I know I am. I can't stop moving around. I'm getting so fired up from your stories. I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, dude.
Man, no, thanks for having me.
That was it,
Much
man.
appreciated.
I really appreciate you coming on. We got the crowd into it and everything. And we're going to catch you next time, guys. Woo!